Hello and welcome to episode 5, the NBA NHL Draft special of the Clutch Mode podcast. One brain, all the games. I'm your host, David, with my co-host, Alex.
Hello.
If you're new here, welcome. If you're returning, we welcome you back. We're a proud member of the Boston Sports Zone family, where you can go to find out everything you need to know about Boston sports. Check it out for in-depth Patriots, Celtics, Bruins, Red Sox, and Revolution coverage. And also, make sure to check out all the in-depth articles at bostonsportszone.card.co. That's card with 2 R's, by the way. And follow Boston Sports Zone on X and YouTube at @sportszone_BOS, all caps. And also make sure to follow the Clutch Mode podcast on X and @ClutchModePod, lowercase one word.
Also, don't forget, we have a Etsy store. The Boston Sports Zone Etsy store. It's Boston. Look for us on Etsy, Boston Sports Zone. We have gear to represent all of our shows and the Boston area. We are getting new things all the time. So get your gear and represent the crew.
All right, let's kick it off with the week in review. Starting off with the NFL this time. Obviously, it's the dog days of summer. And we're going to have to just suffer with the fact that there's no football until training camp.
That is a bummer. I don't know why the world does that to us. It stinks.
It happens, though, yeah.
It does happen every year.
And anywho, the Jets and right guard Joe Tippmann have reached an agreement this week on a 4-year, $66.4 million contract extension, which includes $34.9 million guaranteed. It is a very good signing for New York because it helps keep stability at both the guard position and the O-line, which they desperately need help with Geno Smith at quarterback.
That is a fact. I mean, if Geno Smith has any hope of being anything but how he was last season, and last season
Vegas,
he was not good.
Well, to be fair, the coach wasn't that good either.
They're going to need that offensive line to hold up.
That is true. The New Orleans Saints and 8-time Pro Bowler defensive end Cam Jordan reached an agreement on a new 1-year deal, marking Jordan's 16th consecutive season in New Orleans. His new deal has a max value of $11 million. The base value is $7.5 million, which is 6.15 signing bonus, plus a $1.35 million base, with $3.5 million in sack incentives. This is a depth signing. An edge, honestly, that New Orleans needs. And it also brings a veteran presence for young players on the defense. I think it's a good signing for Nola.
I think so, too. I mean, you can't go wrong with having veteran depth. And it's really good for the new players on the team. And it always is good to have depth in case somebody gets hurt.
Yes. The Jacksonville Jaguars signed their long snapper.
Long snapper? Or is it the wrong snapper? We can't have the wrong snapper.
That is true.
That would be bad.
But they signed their long snapper, and I apologize if I say his name wrong, Ross Matiskik, to a 2-year, $3.8 million extension in new money this week. And this deal actually makes him the NFL's newest, highest paid long snapper in the league.
Stacks on stacks, yo.
I think this is good for their special teams.
Absolutely.
It's always good to provide.
It's always good to have a long snapper. Yeah. Someone has to snap the ball.
Yeah, it's good to provide stability at that position. So yeah. In a very interesting category, the saga of Texas Tech quarterback Brendan Sorsby continues, as Sorsby is now applying to enter the NFL's supplemental draft. After seeing the writing on the wall in the NCAA, Sorsby, who is frankly still seen as first-round talent, now could be the highest drafted supplemental pick in decades.
This is really interesting because a lot of times there's the supplemental draft, but nothing really comes of it. But this time around, this is a huge deal. I think, it was difficult because every team that played Texas Tech in every sport was about to boycott the school because I wonder about his character issues. I'm sure he's a great talent, but nobody cares about character in the NFL. So I suppose that doesn't matter.
True.
No, it doesn't matter. But I think it's important that, he did his school a solid and realized that he really wasn't going to get anywhere. He wasn't going to be able to play because every team was going to, because every team was going to boycott.
And that, yeah.
Yeah, so I think it's going to be interesting, the quarterback needy teams that are going to be looking to draft him in this supplemental draft.
Yeah, that is true. And finally, recently signed Eagle and former Buccaneer first-round pick defensive end Joe Tryon-Shoyinka has announced his retirement from the NFL this week at the age of 27.
Respect.
Yeah, we wish a happy retirement to JTS.
Absolutely.
All right, moving on to the NHL. The Carolina Hurricanes this past weekend won their first Stanley Cup in 20 years this past weekend, shutting out the Vegas Golden Knights 3-0 in a crucial Game 6, with goals scored by former Bruin Taylor Hall, in addition to Jackson Blake and an empty netter from Nikolaj Ehlers to seal the deal. Former Providence Bruin Brandon Bussey ended the postseason.
Get on the bus, Gus.
Exactly. He ended the postseason with 22 saves that night and a save percentage of 1.000, and was one of the stars of the game along with Hall and Blake as well, so there's that. After the finals, the Golden Knights fired their interim coach John Tortorella and then hired Ryan Craig as their new head coach the next day. Wow. Craig actually joined the organization in 2017 as an assistant coach, and for the last 3 years was the head coach of their AHL affiliate, the Henderson Silver Knights.
I have to tell you, first of all, what's really good for the NHL is the viewership was really high for this game. It's funny how even though the viewership was really high for this game, it's still like 4 times less than the NBA Finals, which was like the most watched NBA Finals. But I think for me, the Stanley Cup Final in itself was full of, excellent gameplay, lots of goal scoring, lots of intrigue, and to be honest, I thought Vegas was going to win, which is probably why Torts got fired. But I just feel like I'm happy for Carolina. Shout out Hartford Whalers. That's the Carolina Hurricanes, the former Hartford Whalers. Yep. So I like that because the Hartford Whalers got right on X and said the Hartford Whalers win the Stanley Cup. Which
it wasn't the Whalers. It was the AHL's Wolf Pack.
The Wolf Pack?
Yeah, they're called the Wolf Pack.
But the Whalers.
Yeah, but they're not around. So
no, I know they're not around anymore. But anyway, I thought that was great that they got in on the Stanley Cup fund. But in general, Carolina was so strong throughout the season.
They were a number 1 seed, so that makes sense.
And they were the number 1 seed. I just for some reason, coming out of the West, I just assumed that Vegas was going to take it, and I think that's ultimately what cost Torts his job.
Yeah. In other news, Winnipeg Jets center Jonathan Toews announced his retirement from the NHL this morning. The veteran center also spent a majority of his career playing for the Chicago Blackhawks from 2008 to 2023, wishing a happy retirement to the guy known as Captain Serious. He ends his career as a 3-time Stanley Cup champion, a 2-time gold medalist for the Canadian Olympian team, a 6-time NHL All-Star, including 3 consecutive years, and a winner of the 2015 Messier Award and the 2010 Conn Smythe Trophy winner.
Respect.
It's a good resume to have.
That is, absolutely.
Yeah, also there are a lot of trades this week in anticipation at the NHL Draft. On Tuesday, the Philadelphia Flyers acquired goaltender Joseph Woll and defenseman Simon Benoit from the Toronto Maple Leafs in exchange for goaltender Samuel Ersson and defenseman Emile Andre, in addition to a 3rd-round pick from the 2026 NHL Draft. Colorado Avalanche traded forward Ross Colton and goalie Isaac Posh to the Nashville Predators in exchange for Magnus Krona. Well, that's a fun name.
Makes me think of the Cronut.
Yeah, like Kronos or something. But yeah, they received Krona from the Predators in addition to a 2026 3rd-round pick and a 2027 3rd-round pick that previously belonged to the Avalanche.
That's a lot.
Yeah, that sounds kind of full circle. The Buffalo Sabres traded defenseman Michael Kesselring and the 27th overall pick for the 2026 draft to the San Jose Sharks in exchange for the 20th overall pick. Kesselring, who previously spent time in the West playing for Arizona and the Coyotes, who eventually turned to Utah, now heads back to the Pacific for a fresh start with a young Sharks offense with players like Macklin, Celebrini, and Will Smith, and not the actor.
No, not the actor Will Smith.
Nope.
Last time I checked, he doesn't play hockey.
That is correct. The Bruins announced that they have acquired a 2026 fourth-round pick for the draft, in addition to a 2026 fifth from the Sharks as well, in exchange for the rights to one of their prospect forwards, Andre Gasso, in addition to a 2026 fourth-round pick.
That's a good trade, I think, for Gasso, who is a BC grad. He, his contract was coming up. He wasn't going to be brought up to the team, and he has an opportunity to try to get on another roster on another team. So that's a good
San Jose or probably their AHL team as well.
Well, let's see if he can make it on the main roster.
And this morning, the Tampa Bay Lightning traded defenseman Darren Radish to the Maple Leafs in exchange for Toronto's fifth-round selection in the 2026 draft. Soon after, Radish inked in an 8-year extension with the Leafs with an AAV of $8.5 million.
Woo!
This move definitely helps Toronto improve their offense and power play, as well as their scoring, as Radish, who is a native of the nearby Toronto suburb of Caledon, had 22 goals and 48 assists last year in Tampa. So we hope for a good fresh start for the hometown hero.
Yeah, I think that's that's a decent goal scorer. They're going to get a lot out of him, and I think that will help the team out.
Yeah. In other news, the Maple Leafs also announced they hired their new head coach, Jim Hiller. So we hope that Hiller can help one of the original 6 teams to a good season.
The Maple Leafs have been struggling, and it's unfortunate not to see them, as an original 6 team. It's unfortunate not to see. Oh, that's my cat's tail. It's unfortunate not to see them doing well. They've really been struggling.
I know, but as a Bruins fan, you can't complain.
No, you can't complain. Absolutely not. We don't want any of that.
Yep.
We don't want any of the Maple Leafs.
That is true. And speaking of the Bruins, they announced this week that the club will bestow its highest honor upon one of their legendary players, Patrice Bergeron.
That's amazing.
They will be retiring his number, 37.
That's right. He was a Bruin his entire career. It's an unbelievable honor. It's well-deserved. It's about time.
Loyal to the very end.
Absolutely. I can't wait. I can't wait to see that ceremony.
It's definitely going to be a sold-out game, that's for sure.
Well, it's not a game.
Oh, they're not having it?
I don't know when they're
I assume they're having it during one of the
maybe.
games, but if they do, it's going to be sold out 100%.
Yes, absolutely. I'm sure they're going to have something very nice and commemorative to give out.
Yes, indeed. All right, moving on to the NBA. Yes. The Knicks achieved the unthinkable on Saturday night by winning their first NBA Finals championship in 53 years over the Spurs. Yeah, that's a
big fat boo.
It's definitely a tough pill to swallow as a Celtics fan.
It is.
And to no one's surprise, Jalen Brunson was named MVP afterwards. And honestly, the series was not a good look for San Antonio. Even though the Spurs put up a fight, they led 69% of the entire series playing time and yet still lost. If they haven't fired their coach yet, they frankly should.
I kind of think they should. I have
you
to be
shouldn't
honest.
be coaching a team that can't win.
I have to be honest. Like, my assessment of the NBA's finals is, first of all, what does it say when you're leading 66% of the time and you lose?
Yeah.
And not only that, but I think Wemby is young. Nobody even knows what his ceiling is. Here comes the cat. There she goes.
Apologies.
That's Delilah. Keep it going, girl.
Sorry. Where
That's
we?
Delilah. So I think that Wemby, nobody knows what his ceiling is. He's clearly young. You can clearly see he probably had issues with conditioning down the stretch with his first time in the playoffs and being able to go that long. And that happens a lot to a lot of
that's
younger
true, but
players.
He still has one thing, and that's potential.
I think that's an understatement of the year. But I think he needs to get into the weight room, bulk up just a little bit. He's got a pretty small frame.
For a guy who's like
not tall,
7 foot something.
But he's very lanky.
Yeah, it's not high.
And he needs
he needs to make up for in muscle what he lacks in height.
And I also think that they have to look at strengthening the parts that are around him. I think Wemby tried to do too much, and he kind of ran out of steam. And you could see that there was the one thing that you have with a more veteran and a more seasoned team versus the way that the Spurs were is the ability to overcome adversity. How many double-digit leads the Knicks come back from, where they were able to come back and persevere.
Yeah, like Game 4, they had the greatest comeback in like NBA history or something like that.
Yeah. So I mean, you're talking about a 20-something point lead, and the Knicks every single game in and game out, they stayed patient, they stayed confident. And they were able to, and that was really, I think, one of the big differences that led them to win the NBA Finals was, and you just didn't see that kind of discipline and that ability, that clutch ability that you get from the Spurs. But that's okay. That's what happens when you have a young team. They're gonna keep getting better. They're gonna put other pieces around Wemby. Wemby's gonna get better as a player, and eventually, I see them making it back to the playoffs
within the next few years.
I definitely see them making it back to the playoffs, barring anything crazy. But they just need time and experience and a little bit better players.
Yeah, that's true. Needless to say, the city of New York they went ballistic, to say the least.
Yes, they did.
And they also had a good time at the ticker tape parade yesterday at the Canyon of Heroes in Manhattan.
Yes, that was a...
So yeah, I'm going to try to not throw up in my mouth as I say this, but congratulations to the New York Knicks on a successful season.
Good job not throwing up in your mouth.
Thank you.
You're welcome.
In other NBA news, the Chicago Bulls finalized the hiring of their new coach this week. Former interim coach of the Trailblazers, Tiago Splitter, will now be coaching the Bulls.
Great.
Yeah. Washington Wizards sophomore center Alex Sarr underwent a surgery this week to repair a fractured right foot on Monday after he sustained the injury on a contact play during an offseason workout. But Sarr is expected to be healthy for the start of the season, so don't worry, Wizards fans.
Okay.
And in legal news, Cavaliers' recently extended player James Harden was arrested last weekend in Houston on a misdemeanor charge of an unlawful carrying of a weapon in a motor vehicle. Interesting enough, though, the state of Texas does allow constitutional carry, but Harden was arrested because his legally owned firearm wasn't, and I quote, in a holster in his vehicle.
Well, why do you say it like that?
I mean, and I don't know. I mean, it just, honestly, to me, it just feels a little extra. I mean, it's in a holster. It's not in a holster. So what? At least he's not like firing at anybody.
I don't know.
With malice.
I don't know if there's. Well.
I mean, as long as he. I mean, I'm sure he knows how to use a gun properly.
I'm sure he has a license to carry it.
Yeah, exactly. I mean.
But I think that it's difficult without getting.
I mean,
political.
I mean, obviously, we need obviously we need like the case details and stuff, but
yeah, I mean
Texas is extremely conservative, as most people know.
Very true.
And I'm just gonna stop there.
We're just gonna leave it at that. I think
exactly.
did they need to arrest him? Hard to say, but
I mean, it depends on like what was happening at the time.
Yeah,
honestly.
Yeah, but maybe I mean I'm hoping it just wasn't sitting on the seat next to him. Like, why do you do that anyway? That's weird.
I mean, we'll just let the legal officials do their job and see what happens. I don't think it'll be like suspended. Worst case scenario, he'll probably be fine.
Oh, nobody gets suspended in the pro leagues. Come on now.
Well,
you can kill somebody and they won't suspend you. There's no such thing as suspension.
If I had $1,
you know what they suspend for? Drugs, PED. That's what they suspend for.
If I had $1 for every time I've seen some sort of a legal issue where they don't get suspended.
It's ridiculous. It is. Like you can like steal, you can murder, you can beat everybody up on the planet, but God forbid you take some HGH, then you're out.
Yeah, exactly. We're just going to leave it at that. All right, the MLB up next. Last weekend, the Red Sox won their first home game series since April after beating the Texas Rangers on Friday and Saturday. But unfortunately, surprise, surprise, they did let the Rangers beat them one game on Sunday, 6-4. Then after, they had an epic collapse against the Toronto Blue Jays in the next series, losing all 3 games, a clean sweep for the Jays, with final scores of 6-1, 3-0, and 4-3. The Sox do hope to turn their luck around on the road as they head west to face the Seattle Mariners, including the big dumper Cal Raleigh and former Red Sox Rob Refsnyder. And then they head to the worst record team in the MLB, the Colorado
You
Rockies.
mean there's
after
somebody
that.
worse than the Red Sox?
Yeah, the Rockies have the worst record right now. So I swear to God, we better not lose one game against the Rockies. Or if we lose one game to the worst team in the MLB, there should be like an automatic dismissal for Breslow.
Well,
Speaking thereof, he did have like a conference on Wednesday, and honestly, this might be the stupidest thing anybody's ever said, but he said, "It's not about winning every trade. Sometimes you have to lose trades." Like what?
well, I think what I don't understand is this. If you're going to do a trade in the off season, then okay, maybe you can lose a trade. That's fine. But you're in the middle of a season. If you're not winning trades, then what are you doing?
Exactly.
Why are you making trades? You make trades to win the trade. You don't make a trade to just go, oh, well, I guess that didn't work out. Well, that guy's gone now.
Exactly.
So, you know what it is? It's like right now, I don't even know what is left to say about the Red Sox. They're terrible. They're run poorly. It's like not only do they need to, what is going on with the coaching? You're talking about players who, clearly are lacking talent, except for Contreras
and Duran.
But you're talking 14 games below 500, 6-7 against the AL East, 0-32
pitching
in
game
trailing.
is struggling with that Crochet for sure.
0-2 in trailing when more than 3 runs, 2-9-1 at Fenway,
Our home
12-25 at Fenway
sucks.
overall. Yeah, you can't protect home. 1 for 29
except against the Rangers, I guess.
with RISP in the last series, and 29th in runs and home runs. So you're talking about like what are we doing here? Like,
exactly.
How do you even call this a?
And they're mulling over trading with some of their best players like Duran, Contreras, Sonny Gray.
Well, Sonny Gray has a no trade clause, so he would have to waive his no trade clause in order to be traded. But can we send everybody to the Worcester? Can we just send the whole team down to Worcester? Not
to mention our closer, Aroldis Chapman, has a 90% chance of being traded.
But interestingly enough, the Yankees said they're not interested. So
kind of petty,
that's all right.
I
don't know that I could stand seeing. It's bad enough that he's going to go.
Whatever.
Well, it's bad enough that he's going to go, but I don't know that I can stand seeing.
I don't want to see Chappie on the Yankees, especially.
Exactly. Couldn't have said it better.
The MLB trade deadline. Yeah. So
it's coming up.
Coming
up fast.
August 3rd is the deadline. So TikTok. Next up, NASCAR. Denny Hamlin has now won 3 races in a row after winning this past weekend's race in the Poconos. Hamlin is also the 4th NASCAR driver in history to win 3 consecutive races while starting first, after Richard the King Petty, Bobby Allison, and Darrell Waltrip. In other NASCAR news, the Wood Brothers Racing Organization is making a driver change next year for their number 21 car. Josh Berry will be leaving the team, and Jesse Love, who competes in the O'Reilly Auto Parts Series, will be driving full-time for Wood Brothers next year. And now for the PWHL.
Well, what about FIFA?
Oh yeah, FIFA. That's true.
Forgot about FIFA. Who can forget about FIFA?
True. Exactly. The World Cup is in full swing, of course. The U.S. men's team got off to an electric start, winning their first match over Paraguay, 4-1 with the final score. And they can advance to the next round with the win over Australia. Not to mention they can win Group D if they beat Australia, and if Paraguay wins or draws.
Good to know. In
non-USA World Cup news, there was a bunch of important moments, like Argentina's star player Lionel Messi netted a spectacular hat trick in a 3-0 blowout victory over the Algeria team. And with this performance, Messi reached 16 World Cup goals, officially tying Germany's Miroslav Klose for all-time men's World Cup scoring record. If he gets one more goal, he can break Klose's record.
That's pretty cool. I mean, that guy is like, it's so
incredible.
Amazing, and he's in the MLS, and that's great. I know. And he's just,
he's probably like the Tom Brady of like soccer.
Tom Brady of soccer.
Yeah. I mean, arguably, he could be seen as the GOAT of soccer.
Some would say Pele, though. I don't know.
Yeah, those would be fighting words. We'll see. Cape Verde team shook Group H by holding the European Championship Spain to a heroic 0-0 draw. Despite Spain dominating with 734 complete passes, in addition to 27 shots, it just could not keep breached the defense of Cape Verde.
That's great. You know, Cape Verde, they got like millions of followers on social media after
because of
that one game.
That's crazy.
Yeah, it's amazing.
And rookies Erling Haaland of Norway and Kylian Mbappe of France had a good turnout as they both scored at least one debut goal for their respective teams. Haaland scored 2 goals to help Norway win 4-1 over Iraq, and Mbappe scored 2 goals as well to help France beat Senegal 3-1. And then important games coming up for the next week include Germany versus the Ivory Coast and Germany versus Turkey. And then we got Netherlands versus Sweden and it's Ecuador versus Germany and Turkey versus the U.S. I apologize.
That's okay. So then let's
the PWHL, yeah.
Yeah, no, not the PWHL. That's for later.
Oh, okay, sorry.
It's okay.
And then finally, in miscellaneous sports, the U.S. Open has started yesterday in Long Island's Shinnecock Hills. It's a very tough course with high winds, and number 1 ranked golfer Scotty Scheffler is looking to get out of his little slump right now and hopefully win the U.S. Open. But it doesn't help that Rory McIlroy, one of the greatest golfers of all time, is hot on his heels.
He's in 3rd place right now.
Yeah,
I'm sorry. Tough. I'm not going to lie. I don't like golf. I don't really know a lot about golf. You know what my
all
favorite
I know is that the lowest score wins. That's pretty much it.
Well, you know what my favorite thing about golf is?
That
driving the golf cart. That's my favorite part. You driving the golf cart. You got your cold one cruising up and down them hills.
Yeah,
that's the best part. That's
making
the best
sure
part
to avoid bunkers and water hazards.
Yes, no water hazard. We can't play water hazards if you don't hit the ball.
Yeah,
you just cruise it.
Not to mention bunkers.
All right.
And that is the week in review.
Yes, thank you. That was a great one. All right, moving on to our next segment.
Know your numbers. Brought to you by Numbers. Know them.
You got to know them numbers.
Yep. Giants offensive lineman Gerard Gray is wearing the number 79, last assigned to Tyree Phillips. Packers tight end Luke Lachey, and I apologize if I said his name wrong, will be wearing 86, last assigned to John Fitzpatrick. Falcons recently signed offensive lineman Wanya Morris will be wearing the 79, currently shared with Carlos Allen. Vikings defensive liner and former Patriot Javary Ritzy will be wearing 96, last assigned to Monkel Goodwine. And former Patriot and current Viking tight end Marshall Lang is 81 on the team, last assigned to Joaquin Davis. In non-NFL numbers news, Phoenix Suns star guard Devin Booker will be changing his jersey from number 1 to 15, honoring his USA basketball uniform and the college number of his father, Melvin. And that is Know Your Numbers.
Ooh, I feel like I know my numbers.
Yes, you do.
I do.
All
1,
right.
6.
Yeah.
3.
49.
Oh, 49 is a good one. That's a good one. That's a keeper. Mm-hmm. All right. So we're moving on to our next segment. And this is going to be a great segment today.
Yes, the one question.
The one question.
Well, we're going to change it up this time.
The one question is, what is going on with the NBA and the NHL draft?
Yes.
And who will the Celtics and Bruins be drafting? So we are very excited today because we have ourselves a special guest, a member of the Boston Sports Zone. Let's give a big welcome to
hello.
host of the NBA cross-court coverage, which,
Welcome.
by the way, your show was great. Watched it the other day. It was fabulous. Watch cross-court coverage. Let's follow him on the socials. Let's watch everybody's stuff
comment,
here. So
subscribe.
welcome.
Thank you guys for having me, David, Alex. It's great to be here. Like they just said, cross-court coverage is my pod on the Boston Sports Zone family, but everyone on the Boston Sports Zone network is doing great things. So glad to collab, glad to do a crossover, talk a little bit about the Celtics and their draft, and I'm excited to be here. So thank you again for having me on.
I'm excited to be here too. So what do you think? What do you think? The draft it's obviously 2 days. It's Friday, Saturday next week.
Oh, no. It's 23rd and 24th. I believe that's a Wednesday.
You know what? I'm
Wednesday and a Thursday
Wednesday
or
and a
Tuesday
Thursday.
Wednesday.
Don't listen to me. I don't
it's
know.
Next week is the point.
It's next week.
It's next week.
It's next
Both
week.
next week.
That's right. Is it on ABC? It's always on ABC.
Probably like ABC, ESPN, or something like
ESPN.
that.
I think so. Yeah.
Sorry, I got confused. I've been doing so much draft prep, but I don't even know what draft we're talking about anymore. So what do you think? First of all, I think it's interesting today because I saw that now they're saying, oh, the Celtics, maybe they're not really interested in trading JB anymore. And I'm just like, that for me, I wasn't necessarily surprised because I just feel like it's too quiet from the Celtics. It's just so much smoke. And it was probably like the Bucks trying to raise hype, trying to get, somebody, maybe the Heat, maybe somebody else to bite on coming up with something good that they like so that they could trade for Giannis. But, without a third team or maybe without, because they couldn't find a third team so that the trade isn't going to go through. But I just feel like without a third team, you can't trade JB. And so they're I'm not necessarily surprised to hear the pendulum swinging in the other direction.
Yeah, I mean, for me, this whole Giannis JB saga has been very interesting. I think one, because if you want to be a rebuilding team, which I think the Bucks are moving towards, Jaylen Brown's not going to be your guy to rebuild around. That means you're kind of ready to contend right now. And I don't think that the Bucks are in any way, shape, and form ready to be contenders. I don't think they're a Jaylen Brown away from the finals. I don't think they're a Giannis Antetokounmpo away from the finals. So it's always kind of struck me as, what are we doing here? So not finding a third team to get involved in the trade or not finding the right draft capital. But also, I do believe it was a lot of the Bucks. I think it was a lot of one-sided smoke, like you said, Alex, where we know that Jaylen Brown has this level of value. And if we can keep dangling that carrot in front of Miami or Atlanta or Portland or whoever it may be that's actually trying to go after Giannis, they can be like, okay, this is the bar. But I don't see it playing out like that. I don't think the Celtics will end up being part of the Giannis trade. I think we will end up going into the season with Jaylen and Jason, which I think is also the best solution and the best equation for the Celtics. We won a championship with both of them already. They both play really well together. Every offseason, the narrative is break up the Jays. It's getting old, but
really
it's just
is.
something we have to deal with as Celtics fans.
Yeah, you're not wrong. Every year, but it's what I find is interesting is it's break up the Jays, get rid of JB. It's never Tatum. Because then what would happen to Deuce? Poor Deuce.
Exactly. I mean, granted, they're both on Supermax contracts.
Yeah, they're both on, but that's the thing is like, I think it's so fascinating that it's always break up the Jays, get rid of JB. Break up the Jays, get rid of JB. It's never break up the Jays. Let's build around JB and maybe we'll move Tatum.
Yeah.
Yeah. I mean, that's always something that, if I were to pick a favorite player on the team right now, I am a Jason Tatum fan, but that does not mean that I do not love and appreciate what Jaylen Brown does for this team.
Well,
so it is interesting to see that Jaylen Brown is always the one dangled in trade offers or rumors or whatever it is.
It is true. I think and I think it's hard as a player not to shut out that noise. And I think it really ties into like his feelings about the entirety of his career in Boston and his relationship with the town. It's just hard because, what's going to be very interesting is how is Tatum going to be next year? Coming off that Achilles, and all of a sudden you spend all this focus and sort of built up some bad will with JB dangling out there about the trade. And let's say Tatum comes back and, he needs, God forbid, a year, a season, or he's just never the same. Now you've spent all this time, creating bad vibes with JB, and he may turn out to be the new dominant player as opposed to, and then, it's just very interesting. It's like, I don't know. I think the handling of the situation has been interesting.
Yeah. I mean, my biggest thing, and the thing that I think that a lot of Celtics players Celtics fans can hang their hat on, is that Brad Stevens is a very good executive.
Yes,
and I think that regardless of what the media is saying, regardless of what rumors may be out there, I'm sure he's having one-on-one conversations with both these players. I'm sure he's like, Jaylen, like, if you want to be the number one option on a team, we can look for trade options. If you want to stay here and you love it here and want to run it back and get another championship, then we're going to do that. So I can't say for sure. I don't know. I would love to be in the room where Brad Stevens is talking, but unfortunately I don't have that access.
No. So as far as the draft is concerned, I mean, at this point in time, we know that there's been rumors saying that the Celtics want to move up from 27. We know that they need a big, for rim protection. So like, what do you think the Celtics' biggest needs are going into this draft?
I mean, I would agree. I think rim pressure, whether it's on offense or defense, is a big thing that they need. I think the offense got a little stagnant, and I think that was a big part of what caused us to lose after being up 3-1 to the 76ers. I think that Joel Embiid, who's never healthy and happens to be healthy in the series against us, and we didn't have an answer for him, was our kryptonite this year. Yeah, exactly. Like, it's just one of those things where I think we need to really, like, Neemias Queta is great. I love him. I think he's a great center, but I don't think that he's a true starter in this league. I don't think that he's necessarily going to, we might have seen his ceiling already. So getting a big man, getting someone who's ready to attack the rim, not necessarily someone who's going to stretch the floor. I think Joe Mazzulla loves the 3-ball, but if we get a real big, like an old school big who can be in there and grab rebounds and dunk the ball and just give us something different to look at, it would be a huge help for this Celtics team.
So I think we know, at least I know now, thank you, David, that the draft is next Wednesday, not next Friday. So I want to just take a look at the draft, the drafting right here. So let's see what we got. Oops, nope, I just did that wrong. Yeah, that's great. Look what I did. Let's try that one more time. I'm sorry. I apologize.
You're good.
Oh, what did I do? There we go.
Works,
okay.
Yeah.
Haha. Oh, I meant to do this. Ta-da. Don't mind me. Graphics and all.
Yeah, as you can see, we're picking 27th.
We're picking 27th.
The hope is 40th.
Yes, and 40th. That is correct. Thank you, David. So the hope is to move up to 27. Who would you see?
No, we're at 27.
No, I'm sorry. Move up from 27. Who would you see as somebody who might be willing to trade with the Celtics? Who would you see as, and what would you see as something that they might trade away to get?
Yeah, no, I mean, recently I've been hearing a lot of talk about possibly moving Derek White to get up in the trade or get up in the draft. I love Derek White. I think he's a great player. I think he had a bad year this year, but Brad Stevens is one of those guys that if he sees declining, value of an asset, he will move away from it and trying to maximize, the best position to always be in. So I think a lot of teams could use a Derek White kind of player. I don't know if we'll necessarily get in the lottery. I don't think a top 10 pick is really in play for us, but somewhere in the teens, whether that be in OKC, Toronto, maybe a reunion with the San Antonio Spurs for Derek White. It's going to be interesting to see how we get there. What picks, what players is going to be involved to moving up. Again, that's why Brad gets paid the big bucks and I don't, because the math there doesn't exactly work out for me.
Yeah, I mean, there's been talk about trading Gonzalez. There's been talk about trading Hauser. There's been talk about trading, Pritch, please. Yep. Like, I love him so much. Like, I like him a lot.
Yeah, I would never want to get rid of the half-court king.
Can't get rid of the half-court king. But I'm fine. Not that they care, but I'm fine with parting with Hauser. I'm fine with parting with. I wonder about Walsh and Shireman and Gonzalez. Like, if you're really going to continue, if you're really going to continue team building and you really want to keep sustaining, trading away one of those gives me pause.
Yeah, no, I think so too. I think that especially certain players that we haven't seen the most out of yet. I think that Baylor Shireman still has the opportunity to prove a little bit more. Jordan Walsh kind of has given us a relatively full view of what he can do, but that does not mean that it's more of an opportunity thing for him. If he was a starter on a team, I think you would see much more production out of Jordan Walsh. Ugo, as it's supposed to be pronounced. I love him. I think there's a lot of untapped potential there. I would be very upset if we moved away from him because I think it was a steal last year. And that's also kind of why I lean towards maybe we don't need to move up. Maybe we can just find that guy like we did. I mean, we got Ugo later in the draft last year. We could do that again if we do the right scouting, if we have the right idea. So I agree. I think team building is going to be important. I think that not giving up on a player before we really know what they're worth is a big aspect of this. But at the end of the day, there could be a team that's calling saying, hey, we really like this guy and we'll give you just outside the lottery pick. Like, then we have to make we don't. Brad Stevens has to make the decision of if it's worth moving up or not.
All right. Speaking of picks for the draft, let's take a look at some of the prospects. So we've got your top 30 prospects for this year's draft. At the top, who's at the top?
AJ Dabansa.
And the top 5.
And then Darren Peterson, Cameron Boozer, Caleb Wilson, and Kingston Fleming.
So I think I kind of am interested in the center, who isn't necessarily not the 27th, but what is
Malik?
No, not Malik. It's like with an H.
Thomas Haw?
No, there he is. Henry
Vayasar.
I think it's Vassar.
It's Veesaar.
No,
I think it's
not that.
I don't know.
Oh, I think
pronunciations are not my forte.
That's okay. I know neither. So I think it would be interesting. I think he might be interesting at center, which they definitely could use a center. So let's see. And I also, I just think what other besides center should be positions that you think that they should be targeting?
I mean, I agree on Henry or Henry or however we want to pronounce it.
Who knows?
I think he's
I'm sure
a good spot where we're
draft,
picking. But if we're not looking at big man, if we're not looking at center, which I think is maybe the biggest glaring issue on the team, there's also a need for a backup wing or forward to play behind Tatum and Brown and just kind of give you that off-ball creation and, versatility in the offense. Someone that I had on my board, I believe they're going right around that area. Actually, my top picks are all centers. But right around that area is Isaiah Evans. If he is able to fall a little bit, he's out of Duke. I think he brings a lot to the game. He's really good at catch and shoot, which is a big thing that the Celtics focus on. He fits our system, or he should fit our system very well. And I think that even in college, you saw a lot out of him, but you haven't seen his ceiling. So that's another. Upside picks are always what we want when we go in the draft.
Yeah. Well, it's funny that you mentioned Isaiah Evans because I feel like
it's always good to have somebody from like a good school like Duke, or as we call him as BC fans.
We call him Puke. So I think these are 3 players that the Celtics should be targeting with their first pick.
Evans, Malik Thomas, and
Koi Pete.
Yeah, I think it's Koa, like Boa.
Oh, I'm sorry.
Like Boa.
I apologize to Koa.
I wanted to call him the Koa Constrictor.
Oh, nice one. Maybe we could call him the Koa Constrictor. So Malik, So I know you were talking about Isaiah Evans, and I think I definitely think he's somebody they could use. He went from strictly pure catch and shoot, 3-point specialist at Duke when he was a freshman, to a legit number 2 scoring option and the number 1 overall seed in college basketball. He doubled the amount of 3-pointers he took from this year, which we know if you want to be a Celtic, you got to throw up them threes. Exactly. But he had a 36% rate. So I think I happen to agree with you. He is a good choice. Do you know anything about Malik or Koa?
I know a good amount about Koa, and there's been a good amount of mock drafts that have him coming to the Celtics at 27. I do think that he's going to be one of those players that go early. I think that big boards are a little sheepish on him. I think that he might go in the teens. He might be one of those players that, the right team is just going to be like, he's our guy. I don't care what the pundits say or what the big boards say. So I don't know if Koa is going to be there at 27 for us. If he is, let's get him. I love that idea. I think of the 3 players listed here, I would go Koa, Evans, and then Thomas. Not to knock Thomas at all, but I don't know that Koa will be there for us.
Okay, well, that's very helpful to know because
that's a good point.
Yeah, so I think as Malik Thomas is another shooting guard, and he's a good shot maker. Point guard too. Yeah, he's a good shot maker. He's 49% from 3-point range off the dribble. And so that's, again, I wonder, he's good at pull-ups, floaters. He makes good decision-making, good ball security. So I feel like that, I think, would make him, at least a good option to consider. And like I said, I know I talked about him and he's not on this graphic, but, if you're talking about centers, I think somebody in the range would be, I don't know, is it Henri Visar?
I think it's Vayasar, but
No, I think it's Visar.
yeah, I don't know.
I don't know either, man.
He's
Who
a
knows?
UNC guy, though.
Okay.
That's okay.
He's from
I think that
UNC where Drake May graduated.
I think he would be another good option if we're looking for a center. He's agile. He's got good touch. He's got good playmaking, baseline skills. He's good with spacing, and Missoula loves his spacing. He spaces the floor vertically. He's 43% shooting and on three attempts. So I think he would be a good option to look at when it comes to a center, which I think that we need. Now, do you think that we would be trading for somebody, or do you think more likely that we're likely to approach it through the draft? Oh,
I think center-wise, you could kind of come at it two ways. I think you could easily draft someone that you want to develop and kind of give them that Neemias Queta situation where, they start maybe with the G League and then work their way up. But the answer right now is we need someone to start. So I am hoping that there is a trade out there. There's a couple centers that fit into, we have a trade exception right now from moving on from Anthony Simons that gives us $27 million in cap space to just plug in someone right there. That covers a lot of centers in the league. There's also talks about Walker Kessler now opting out of Utah and
we heard about
find
that.
a new home, and he's been linked to us a million times over. Danny Ainge is the GM over there, so we have that former connection from our old GM. So I'd like to see, you can attack it twice, get someone in free agency or in the trade market and in the draft, or if you really want to take the biggest swing, then I think it's going to be just a full-on trade for a center position.
all right. Well,
Yeah, this is good stuff right here.
it is good stuff right here. All right. Well, again, we want to thank you so much for coming on, but we're going to move on because there are drafts, yo.
Exactly.
And we got to get
We gotta
through more
do
drafts.
NHL
But
and
thank you
BWHL,
again.
yeah.
Right. Tell us where we can watch your show, when we can watch your show, how we can follow you. What is your store? Because you have a store.
Yep.
Tell us all the good stuff.
So cross-court coverage is live 7 p.m. on Tuesdays on the Boston Sports Zone Network on YouTube. So it's at sportszone_BOS. If you go there and you get on at Tuesday at 7 or anytime around there, you can check out the show. If not, then it's on streaming on all audio options. We're doing all the niche, like even the little tiny podcast things. We blast it out to everybody. And then on Twitter, on X, you can follow at NBA Crosscourt. That's the official page for the podcast. And just want to take the time to say thank you again. Thank you for having me on, David and Alex. This has been great.
Thank you for joining us.
Thank you for joining us, and we'll be able to talk to you, collab with you again in the future.
For sure.
All right, we'll see you later.
Have a good one, you guys.
Have a
Bye.
good one.
Oh, and look, I screwed it up again. Oh, for crying out loud.
3.
I don't know why I can't do this. Whatever.
All right, moving on to
So,
the NHL draft.
Let's move on. Okay,
Which is
so
also
now
next
we're
week.
moving on to the NHL draft. So first things first, let's start off with a different draft. Now, maybe not a draft you might be thinking about, maybe a different draft. Let's talk about the PWHL. The
That's Professional
PWHL
Women's Hockey
is the
League.
Professional Women's Hockey League. The Boston Fleet held their draft on June 17th.
Mhm.
Let's take a look at
who
their
they
draft,
picked.
at who they picked. So let's start off.
With the
with the-
2026 and a PWHL Boston Fleet draft class.
Yes. So what's interesting about the PWHL is their draft and how they put it together. They
Mhm.
use something called the gold plan.
Yeah.
So once a team is mathematically eliminated from the playoffs and any standing points it earns in any remaining games becomes draft order points. the league awards 3 points for a regulation win, 2 for overtime, 1 for over shootout, and 1 for overtime or a shootout loss, and 0 for a regulation loss. So basically, once your playoff
loss in regulation, they get points.
So once your playoff hopes are over, the whole point is they want teams to keep winning, and it avoids things like tanking to get picks in the lottery. So instead of rewarding a team for losing late in the season, the gold plan rewards it for continuing to compete.
Yeah.
So the playoff teams are placed in order based on how far they advance, and Boston reached the postseason but lost to Ottawa in the semifinals. So the Fleet picked 10th in every single round. So they traded away their 22nd pick for Ella Huber, and that is why they didn't pick in the second round, but they picked up 27 in the third in exchange. And here are the girls that they drafted. Grace Dwyer was a captain at Cornell and brings strong positioning, smart puck movement, and a calm defensive presence. She is another dependable defenseman behind Megan Keller and Haley Wynn, and should get a lot of meaningful minutes.
Leia Stecker is the next pick, picked 27th overall. She graduated from Penn State. She's a mobile right shot defender who contributed at both ends of the ice for the Nittany Lions. She also adds size, puck moving ability, and reliable depth to a Fleet blue line that needed to be rebuilt following the expansion.
So,
not to mention she's from Randolph, New Jersey.
That's right.
We've been before.
That's right. All right. Next is Jada Bogdan. Bogdan is a 5'10" forward who was the assistant captain at Northeastern.
Shorter than I.
That's right. She brings size, leadership, and special teams value with the ability to play a dependable middle or bottom six role.
Yeah. 58th overall for the Fleet was Jenna Goodwin, a very speedy center with the professional experience in Sweden's SDHL league. And her pace, work ethic, and ability to play through the middle give Boston another option for creating pressure on the forecheck and attacking in transition.
And last up is Maeve Kelly. Maeve is an assistant captain at BU, Boston University.
BC's biggest rivals.
That's right. She projects to be a depth at defense. She brings size, shot blocking, defensive responsibility, and she is an experienced player, and she is used to working in different situations. So that is a review of the PWHL draft. And again, the big four are not the only teams in Boston. We always forget about the Revs, and now we have another professional team. And with the Connecticut Sun leaving, it's really important to support all of our teams.
That's correct.
Let us move on to the NHL
draft. Yeah.
So I think the Bruins have a huge need at right-hand defense.
Yes.
They probably would have selected Kaiten Verhoff with Toronto's pick, but they didn't get Toronto's pick, which was
in
for
lottery,
is it the Carlo trade?
Was it?
I think they got it in the Carlo trade.
I'm pretty.
So
Minton. I mean,
the Leafs won the lottery,
out of it, which is
and they're going to be picking Gavin McKenna. He is pretty much the consensus number one pick. Mm-hmm. So they have one selection in each of the first 3 rounds and 3 selections in the 4th round, which should give them an opportunity to pick up a right-handed defender.
As long as Sweeney don't mess up.
That's right. So let's talk about the trade that they had on Thursday.
Yes. They sent the rights to prospect Andre Gasso and the 120th pick overall to the Sharks for the 104th pick overall, in addition to 157,
which is a
fifth rounder. Yeah.
So that 104th
which originally belonged to 104 for Florida, which is ironic, and 157 belonged to Montreal, the Canadiens.
That's right. So the Bruins selected Gasso in the 7th round of the 2021 draft. He just finished his senior season at Boston College. Represent. And he is probably not going to be signing with the Bruins. So it made sense to trade him.
Yeah, let him have a fresh start in the West.
And it let the Bruins move up 16 spots in the 4th round and added a 5th round pick, which they didn't have prior to this trade. So the Bruins gave their 5th round pick to the Avalanche in the Coyle trade from March of 2025. Mm-hmm. So the Bruins are going to be picking
23, 56, 88, 104, 111, 122, 157, and 216.
So let's start by taking a look at the
Top prospects.
the draft order. So let's see.
Draft order. We're number 23.
All right. So obviously we said Toronto, they won the draft. They're going to be they won the lottery. They're going to be picking first. You've got San Jose, you've got Vancouver, and this
Chicago,
of course is just
New
the
York
first round.
Rangers.
There are many rounds to get through.
Yeah.
So you picked and then again you can
By the way,
see-
the Sharks also have 20, as you can see.
Yes, they do. So I think the Sharks are definitely looking to load up and rebuild.
Yes. Get some more young players like Celebrity and Smith.
So now let's move on and we'll talk about
The top prospects.
Let's talk about the top prospects.
Yes.
Okay. Hold on. All right. So let's see. Top prospects in the NHL.
Definitely gotta give McKenna
I think Gavin
Number
McKenna,
one.
we talked about, is the consensus
number 1.
number 1 pick.
Another Penn State guy.
Yep. So
Yeah, he deemed a generational offensive line with the Nittany Lions with elite vision, world-class puck skills, and an elite playmaking mechanics. And he recorded 15 games for Penn State last season, following a historic award-winning career with the WHL's Medicine Hat Tigers. No idea what
all right.
team that is.
What do we know about the number 2 prospect?
Ivar Stenberg, left and a right wing from the Swedish Hockey League's. I apologize if
It's
I messed this up.
Frölunda.
Frölunda HC. He's a highly mature, hyper-competitive 200-foot forward with masterful puck protection and game-breaking poise. Last season he scored 33 points in 43 SHL professional games and outproduced the historic U18 draft year paces of NHL stars like Nicholas Backstrom and Lucas Raymond.
All right. What about number 3?
Chase Reed, a defenseman of the OHL's Sault Ste. Marie Greyhounds. He's an incredibly dynamic, smooth-skating, modern puck mover with exceptional hockey IQ and high-end blue line mobility. And he posted 48 points, 18 goals, and 30 assists in just 45 games in his league. Leading all draft-eligible North American defensemen in points per game while adding 4 points in 5 World Junior games for Team USA.
Okay. And
Next,
what about number
Keaton
5?
Verhoff, I think that's how you pronounce it, a defenseman from the University of North Dakota Fighting Hawks. He boasts a massive 6'4", 215-pound frame, combined with great technical skating, a high offensive zone playmaking ability, and a booming point shot. He excelled against older competition at the college level, producing 20 points in 36 NCAA games while helping the Fighting Hawks secure a Frozen Four appearance.
All right. So
And finally, number 5.
all right, Caleb Malhotra.
Caleb Malhotra, center, Brantford Bulldogs of the OHL, and he committed to BU as well, Boston University.
Nice.
Not really, we're BC fans. Regarded as the draft's premium, most complete natural two-way center, plays with relentless defensive detail and elite playmaking mechanics. He skyrocketed up draft boards by finishing second in team scoring with 84 points in 67 OHL games.
All right. So we know where the Bruins are picking, right?
23.
That's right. So let's talk about maybe some prospects that we think the Bruins might want to target in
Sure.
the draft.
Yeah, starting with center J.P. Hurlburt from the WHL's Kamloops Blazers. His vision and offensive instincts are high-end. He finished in the WHL regular season with 97 points in 68 games, in addition to 3 more points in 4 playoff games. He play away from the puck was a concern, but the back half of the season looked much better. The main concern for this guy is whether his offensive game can translate to higher levels of play. Improving physicality and poise under pressure would go a long way toward reassuring us of that.
Okay.
The NCAA environment could be a good place to push those elements in the game this fall. Next up is right winger
Mathis Preston.
Yeah, from the Vancouver Giants, also
So
WHL.
Preston had a strong showing in the U18s and helped him boost his stock in the draft. He finished with 6 points in 5 games while being one of the team's top all-around offensive threats. He was puck possession machine. He consistently got the puck into the high danger areas. He was originally a top 10 pick, but his stock fell after he suffered a lower body injury, impacting his 25-26 season. He was unable to play for 8 weeks. Scouts have been disappointed by his play, and he's been inconsistent and needs further development. He lacks two-way skills. He can go hot and cold, and he's a little undersized at 5'11", 170 pounds.
Yeah.
He does have a great shot from the slot, and he creates space with skating and generates opportunities for other players.
And finally, we have center Jack Hextall from the USHL's Youngstown team. He isn't a sexy, flashy, offensive first-rounder, but he is a well-liked and well-respected around the USHL and the NHL, and he's widely viewed as a first-rounder for a lot of the same reasons Command is. A heavy stick, pro habits, and details for position, etc. He's got some big backers, and I could see the Bruins being interested in a guy like him as a potential future middle six center behind James Higgins.
All right. Well, that is
A lot of info.
That is a lot of info. I don't know why I can't do this. Why do I do this wrong every single time?
Nope.
Sorry. My
There you
bad.
go.
Technical difficulties.
All
But isn't
right.
that fun watching them move all over the place? All right. So that is the one question. So the one
Yes.
question is going to be, who are
Will
the Celtics and the Bruins going to draft?
Yeah.
And when are the drafts?
Next week,
What days?
I believe it's Tuesday, Wednesday for NBA, Friday, Saturday for NHL. But you can check your local TV guide if you're really
Yes.
interested.
So we're hopefully by then the Celtics
some
wouldn't have
more.
traded away JB, although it's not looking like it.
Fingers crossed.
Fingers crossed. And then we're going to pick up somebody who's really going to help our team. So let's move on to the next segment.
The 101.
The 101.
Who can enter? Oh, wait, sorry.
So this week's 101, since we're doing draft
Drafts
coverage, to say that
coverage.
10 times fast. Since we're doing draft coverage, we want to talk about how the draft
NBA and NHL drafts work.
actually work. So let's take a look at the NBA draft.
Yeah. First question is, who can enter? Players generally must turn 19 during the calendar year of the draft, be at least 1 year removed from their expected graduation date of their high school class. And American prospects often come from college, the G League, which is like minor league basketball, for those who don't know, or another professional pathway, and international players may enter under separate eligibility rules. Next up, the lottery. The 14 teams that miss the playoffs automatically enter the lottery. The teams with the worst regular season records end up receiving better odds, but the team with the worst record is not guaranteed the number one selection, even though they have the worst record. Under the system used for the 2026 draft, the lottery determines the first, second, third, and fourth picks. Next up, the draft order explained. Picks 1 through 14 belong to the lottery teams, as we stated before. After the first 4 selections are drawn, the remaining lottery teams are placed mostly in reverse order of their regular season record. Playoff teams usually select from picks 15 through 30, with the better regular season records generally producing later picks. Next up, the format. The NBA draft has 2 rounds, 60 selections total, 30 per round, obvi. Each team begins with 1 original pick in each round, but the picks can be traded, forfeited, and or acquired from other teams. The first and second rounds are held on separate nights. On the clock. When a team is on the clock, it can select a player, trade the pick, or move up and down in the order, or make the selection for another team as part of a pending trade. And that's why a drafted player may be announced by one team, but ultimately may join another. And after the pick, first-round selections usually sign rookie scale contracts, with salary structure largely determined by the draft position, which is kind of interesting. Second-round selections can sign several different types of contracts, including standard NBA and two-way deals with the G League. Players who are not selected become undrafted free agents and may sign with any team they want.
All right. So now let's move on. Why? I don't know why I can't do this, but that's okay.
We're learning.
We're learning and growing. Learn and grow with
3.
this. What did I do wrong?
Nope.
Nope.
Not that one. Next, one to the left. Nope. Yep. There you go.
All right,
and
so
now
let's
for
talk
the NHL
about
draft.
the NHL draft.
Yes. Who can enter? Most first-time NHL draft prospects must be turning 18 by September 15th of that draft year, which is kind of random, but whatever. Players can come from Canadian major junior leagues, U.S. junior leagues and high schools, NCAA programs, European junior leagues, European professional leagues, etc., etc. The lottery. The 16 teams that missed the Stanley Cup playoffs enter the draft lottery, just like the NBA, but kind of different. 2 drawings determine the first and second overall selections. A team can move up no more than 10 positions. So only the 11 lowest ranked teams can win the first pick. A team also cannot win the lottery more than twice within a 5-year period. So it sounds like the NHL plays fair in that stance.
That stands? Where does it stand?
You know what I mean. The draft order explained. After the 2 lottery drawings, the remaining non-playoff teams are ordered by regular season points, with the team holding the fewest points receiving the earlier pick. Playoff teams select later. In general, teams eliminated earlier pick before teams that advance further, and within comparable groups. Teams with fewer regular season points pick earlier. The Stanley Cup champion, which in this case is Carolina, selects last. The format. The NHL draft is 7 rounds, normally includes 224 sections. Each of the 32 teams begins with 1 original pick per round, but those picks can be traded. The first round is held on the opening night with rounds 2 through 7 completed the following day. That's a lot.
That is a lot.
Picks can be traded. Teams that can trade specific pick, several picks, players, and picks together, or move up and down the draft. Some picks are conditional, meaning their final value depends on an agreed event. The draft slot number stays attached to the original selection even when a different team owns the pick. And after the pick, an NHL selection gives the players exclusive NHL signing rights, not an automatic roster position. Most drafted players continue developing in junior hockey, college Europe, whatever, before they are ready to compete in the professional NHL. Many prospects need 2 to 5 years of additional development after being selected. The team has a limited amount of time to sign the player, and that deadline depends on the player's age and where the player competes. The player's not signed in time, their rights end up expiring. How long a team controls their rights depends largely on the league or developmental path the player follows. NHL teams generally have 2 years to sign a player drafted from the Canadian Hockey League. If the player remains unsigned, he may re-enter the draft if still eligible or become a free agent. However, teams generally retain their rights to drafted NCAA players in 4 years, allowing them to complete most or all of their careers in college before signing. For players drafted from European leagues, the signing window can vary according to the league, country, and applicable transfer agreement. For example, a player drafted at age 18 from certain European leagues may remain under the team for 4 years. Once a player signs, he usually receives an entry-level contract, but he still may return to junior hockey and remain overseas, or begin his professional development in the AHL before earning a permanent roster spot.
All right. And that is
the 101.
So hopefully you have a better idea of how the draft works so that when you tune into the draft next week, you're going to know exactly what's going on.
Yeah.
So we reached the best part of the show. Last part,
the final
best
freeform.
part,
But
the
before
final
we do,
freeform. Oh,
we got some breaking news
oh,
from
we
Shams
love
Charania.
breaking news. What is it?
ESPN analyst Kendrick Perkins has agreed to become the men's basketball general manager of HBCU Jackson State.
That's
as well
cool.
as a connection to its broadcast and journalism program.
Very, very cool.
We wish the best of luck to Mr. Perkins.
Yes, we sure do. Former Celtic, Mr. Perkins.
Yep.
All right, let's move on to our last segment. Final freeform. What are we going to talk about today?
Top 3 Oreo flavors of all time.
Top 3 Oreo. First of all, would it be safe to call you an Oreo addict?
Mm-hmm. I mean, addict is a strong word.
Do you need help?
I call myself an Oreo connoisseur.
Or a connoisseur.
Exactly.
Okay. Is it the kind of connoisseur? How many Oreos do you think you could eat in one sitting?
I don't know. That's I've never tested, but I don't know. I don't think I can knock out a whole pack, but
I think you could. I think you could eat an entire pack in one sitting,
I
and I
don't
think
know.
I've seen you do it.
Okay. At any rate,
So let's talk about
number
it. Oreos.
from 3 to 1.
Okay, so what's
number
better?
3,
wait,
honestly.
Wait. What's better, the cookie or the cream?
Honestly, I'm impartial. What say you?
I have to say, and I think this might be a hot take right here, I like the cookie better. I only like the chocolate cookie. I'm not a big fan of the golden. I don't particularly like it. But I personally, if I had to choose, I would literally just take Oreo should do that. They should take all the cream out and just sell the cookies. I like the cookies. The cookies are good.
Yeah. Well, that's
right.
your opinion.
It is my opinion.
Number 3,
All
I
right.
would say the BTS Oreos that just came out.
And what's the BTS Oreos?
It's a brown sugar pancake flavored double layer of cream. It's inspired by like a Korean street food delicacy called a hotteok. I apologize if I butchered the name there. It's basically just like a brown sugar pancake, and it's a special for the BTS K-pop band. Yeah, I just tried them recently. I like them a lot. Number 2 would be the also recent Firecracker Bomb Pop Oreos.
Very cool.
It's 3
like
layers
those.
of cream, cherry, lemon, and blue raspberry on 2 golden cookies.
Okay. Is that the one that has the crackly stuff in it?
No crackles.
Which one's the
That was a
crackle one?
previous one.
Which one was that one?
I think it was like Fireworks, which came out like a
and which
bunch
one
of
did
years
you
ago.
just say?
Firecracker Bomb Pop.
Oh, the bomb pop ones. Yes,
Yeah.
I used to love.
And
bomb
number
pops when I was
1
little.
and number 1 would be blueberry pie
Blueberry
Oreos.
pie.
It's just blueberry pie flavored cream on 2 golden cookies. Best Oreos I've ever had ever.
All right, somebody needs to hire you to work for Oreo.
Yeah, they brought them back last year. I think they should bring them back every summer, honestly.
Yes.
And yeah, those are my top 3 right there.
All right. Well, this is it for episode 5 of the Clutch Mode Pod.
Yes,
Remember to
one brain, all
follow
the
us.
games.
Remember to follow us on socials and on Twitter at Clutch Mode. And guess what? We're going to be launching TikTok next week. So talk that tick. Watch us on the TikTok. And remember, go to Boston Sports Zone where you can watch us on YouTube and where you can see all the other great shows that have Boston Sports Zone content.
Yes, like, comment, subscribe.
And we will see you next time.
Yes.